I wake up on the wet mud. Initially, I'm unsure as to where I am, but slowly it begins to come back.
Every soldier here was equipped with new respirators. Not like the ones we used before. These are newer than experiment. They use them wires carefully placed to connect our face to the respirator, like sewing up a ball. I've seen soldiers get beaten for trying to remove them, even when they look desperate. Only one way to remove the mask is with these locks they have on the back. Put there and restrict us from forcefully removing them. Whether it was an oversight or not, the wires tended to come in contact. I'm still trying to get used to breathing in this.
All I know is that I need to get out of these trenches. Through the distant fog, all I can see are things that appear to be ropes that reach out into the sky. They only just recently appeared. I get moving. I pick up a rock off the ground and begin searching nearby barrels. One gives me a bandage, the other gives me the remains of something. I make my way through the trenches, searching for anything, making sure to loot whatever barrels I find on the way. Before long, I find a white door. I open it before stepping into the darkness. All I can see is something hanging from the roof. What it is, though, I am not sure. I walk up a bit further and— oh my god, is that a fucking cow? Before I start the video, I have a YouTube membership. Subscribing to it gets you several benefits, such as getting videos early. This way, you can help me find mistakes or issues with the video so the general public gets a higher quality product. You also get your name at the end of the video, special emojis for when I'm live, and special channels in the Discord. On top of this, if I need people to do videos with, the higher your membership, the higher priority you get in making it into said videos. You subscribing to this will help me get more videos out at a faster rate, as it will allow me to not need to work a real job. I won't lie to you and tell you you need this. It does not change your quality of life in any substantial way. But if you like my content and want to see more higher quality stuff from me, giving me your money will help. Anyways, on to the video. This is Trenchface, the new and cool Funger-like. It uses the Fear and Hunger limb-based combat system, but throws its own twist on it, using something like the time-based attacks from Undertale. Guns are also another feature in this game that plays a pretty substantial role, though I'll get to that one later. The first thing you notice when opening is that, holy shit, this game is loud as fuck. This is my biggest gripe or whatever, as it's genuinely difficult to play at points because it's just constant droning. Anyways, so classes. You're presented with 5 upon starting. 2 are locked for until you beat the game. Don't worry about your starter class, as they are all basically the same and you're able to pretty easily and quickly acquire the other skills from other classes. No matter what you play as the same guy, who I will be calling Cattle. Now, this game really doesn't have much of a tutorial. Granted, Fear and Hunger 1 didn't have much of a tutorial either, but, you know, it had the side entrance. What Trenchface has is a book that gives you a rundown of shit that I did not read. It more or less just explains how guns work, and that's about it. You don't need to read it. Exploring will lead you to finding several different colored doors, a shit ton of barrels, piles of scrap, and dead cows. Each of these serve their own purpose. The doors will be talked about more later. The barrels drop a variety of items, the most prevalent being remains, which act as currency with the merchant cow you saw in the intro. You can also use the leather you got from the dead cows at this merchant to save your game. This cow leather was another issue I kinda had with the game. You are given so much leather throughout the game. Since the game time of the base game is only about 3 hours, you should only be able to get half the leather you can. It just removes the tension, I suppose. Ultimately, not a big deal. Just something I noticed. Anyways, the scrap piles restore the stat below your health, your scrap meter. This acts as your mana, or mind, sort of, allowing you to craft shit. How cool. You very likely won't end up finding your first enemy for a while, requiring you to find a red key before the idea of there being danger in the trenches with you is even alluded to with the sound of ropes. Get used to it, as you're going to be hearing that sound a lot. Eventually you'll find the source of the noise, which is you but red, with ropes attached to him. Innovative. Evil Soldier is the easiest enemy in the game, hands down, with the arm holding the pistol being able to be destroyed in 2 or 3 turns and his body being able to be destroyed in 2. He acts as the combat tutorial, where you're introduced to how melee and firearm combat is done. When doing a melee attack, you're presented with a bar with a skull in the middle. You need to click as another box goes up the bar. The closer you get the box to the skull, the more damage you do. It's what Undertale did. I think, for the most part, it works, but I feel at times the melee combat is largely overshadowed by the firearm combat. Firearm combat is mostly the same, except you are able to decide where each bullet will go. So, with the shotgun, you can shoot both of the soldiers' legs off in one turn, assuming you hit the QTEs. Now here's the interesting part about guns. Whereas the ammo isn't necessarily hard to acquire, you start off with the shotgun shell recipe and it only costs 50 scrap, you need to use a turn to manually reload, forcing you to really debate whether or not the shot is really worth it. Another thing I would like to point out is the music used during combat sections. It does a good job of making every fight seem like it could be your last. With the red evil version of you now dead, you can go find a red door. You can open said red door because of the red key you picked up. There's a note on a table that is more or less just some guy bitching about the mask melting his face or something. I don't know, some like little girl shit. That's just about all that's in there other than an ammo box, which will become massively helpful later in the game. Now you leave this red bunker and go find another, where there's another note. But instead of whining about the mask, he's dick riding it, saying he's never felt better and hasn't slept in days and how he can maintain watch as a sniper for days on end. How queer. I wonder what this could possibly mean. In the same bunker, you also get a rifle. Could this be environmental storytelling? You leave the bunker and are let into, listen to this, Trench 2, as opposed to where you started, Trench 1. I made it through one enemy before my game froze on the second. What a well-made game. Gotta love it. This means I need to restart. Back to grabbing that fucking red key I go. Before long, I made it back and through Trench 2, going out of the trench in order to actually progress. Here is where I met the biggest pain in the ass ever, Conehead. Is that his actual name? I don't know. I'm not sure if you can tell yet, but there isn't much in the name of, well, names. I've just been making up these awesome names. Pulse Blue, take notes. Anyways, this guy fucking sucks to fight. He has 2 arms that attack and his head that will attack after 2 turns. The head does 70 fucking damage, 61 blocking. By the way, did I say that blocking in this game is actually useless? Question, John Pulse Blue. When it says guard, does that mean I'm guarding with my head? This dickhead was the source of so many run endings. Oh yeah, he also dies to a rifle shot in 1 hit to the chest. I didn't discover this until the end of my hard mode run because I am a fucking moron. After dying to him and making my way back to Trench 2, I actually used the save feature so I don't need to go through the process of grabbing the godforsaken red key every run. Spectacular. After dying to him like 5 times and dicking around for another 30 minutes, I finally just decide to run past the fucker. Thank goodness, this will be his only appearance in the game. Anyway, I make it to the next trench, grabbing a pistol on the way where I am promptly kicked to death by an evil soldier. Cool. I then make it back to the trench and get ran through by a conehead. I fucking hate this guy. Eventually, after more deaths than I'm willing to admit, I made it to a new area that has a spot I can save at and, conveniently, a barrel that I can loot infinitely. Did I abuse the shit out of it? Yes. Yes, I did. Only so I could get all the books and stuff so I could give you a more accurate review and whatnot, of course. In this whole new trench, there's a new door. A new red door. Because red doors are awesome, and nothing bad ever happens in red bunkers. In this bunker, there's a note that basically says there's a chemical pumped into the mask. That's more than likely how the sniper could stay up for days at a time. When the drug is abused, it would melt your face down to the bone. In the next room, there's an orange key. It would seem that the red bunker shenanigans are over. After picking up the key, something enters the bunker. A conehead and an evil soldier have come to jump me. Since I am the GOAT, I'm obviously gonna beat their ass. Yeah, I got my ass beat, I'm not showing that shit. Unfortunately for them, I came prepared the next time. Instead of getting dicked, this time I snorted a whole bottle of Viagra. I would be the dick-er. And that's what happened. I crippled the evil soldier for life before moving on to the conehead, ripping his arms off so he'd never jerk off again, before filling him with enough lead to make him invisible to X-ray. From there, I just kick the piss out of the disabled man. As you do. With me now one step closer to collecting a full set of toddler play keys, I start backtracking so I can get into the orange bunker. In the bunker, we find more lore notes. In this one, we discover that someone who was wearing one of the masks was initially fine, then he wasn't. Also that he was being studied to see how long he would last at this stage, but that's unimportant. From there, I backtracked even further until I was in Trench 1, where I went and found the second orange door. The first thing I saw was barbed wire. I was even told, yeah, probably avoid that shit, man. Can you guess what I did? Because it sure as hell wasn't avoided. And here we find another note. This one says that 2 of the soldiers being studied went blind as an effect of the stimulant they had been breathing. Also, the one was kind of goated at shooting birds. That was all. Before long, I get attacked by this gross-ass spider lady. Instead of using traditional spider killing methods, I simply shoot her with my several unregistered firearms. It works better than raid. I think this could mean something. Perhaps that raid is a psyop created by the anti-gun liberal left to decrease gun and firearm purchases, and instead increase the purchases of a gas that allegedly kills bugs while also slowly turning you into a member of the liberal hive mind? Well, guess what, Biden? I have an incredibly large drywall budget and a gun. I think I'll just shoot the bugs instead of soaking them in your sissy mind control spray. Anyways, I go into Trench 3, where there's this noise machine that just spits out a string of numbers. Must be an allegory to the 5G towers and how they are mind controlling people into voting Democrat. I ignore it, moving swiftly to prevent anyone else from falling into the jaws of Biden. On the way there, I run into our next enemy, the big evil man, the whale. It's just a whale corpse, and it's like the Trenchface equivalent of elite guards. It's never worth fighting. Soon enough, I make it through and shut that shit off. Oh, I was kicked to death. Okay, I turned off the transmission tower, and this makes it so these walls that, quote, feel like the surface of a tongue disappear, allowing me to head north. Why did I not bring this up earlier? I don't wanna. Anyways, I keep heading up north, and eventually make it out of the trenches where I stumble upon a few houses, and one with a key inside. I use it to take off the mask. We're given a dialogue between an army recruiter and what is more than likely cattle, where we are shown the reality of World War I, when recruiters would tell men younger than 18 to go outside to have a few birthdays so they can enlist. We take off our mask, revealing a mushy and scarred mess. We are unfortunately sub 5, so we kill ourselves on the spot. There's a note on the ground now. It tells us that we need to get to the forest now so we can blaze on that trench-grown kush. Without the mask on, we are able to see everything for what it really is. No bright and disgusting colors, no maddening noises, just black, white, and silence. There are red cows scattered throughout the area now, all holding items. The coneheads lose their cones, now just appearing to be sick men. Of course, being a true-blooded American, I kick the unwell below me for personal gain. After more stumbling around than I'm willing to admit, I make it to the forest. The devs were nice enough to put 3 of the aforementioned red cows around here. One giving 1 cow leather, which I didn't need since I already had 7 fucking cow leather. Seriously, Pulse Blue, remove some of these cows. One holding 3 medkits, and another with 3 ammo boxes. Now geared to the teeth, we make our way into the house. Holy shit, it's John Trenchface. Oh my fucking god, it's the guy from the game cover. Unfortunately, much like Tobey Maguire, John Trenchface isn't particularly kind to his fans. He calls us a deserter before backtracking and calling us a monster. Unfortunately for John Trenchface, he wasn't told how dogshit damage over time damage is in this game, leading into a relatively easy fight. Of course, that's not allowed to be the final boss. A rope lowers, and we are attacked by what seems to be a person tied up in a sheet who is, of course, attached to 3 ropes. Could this be John Trenchface? Could he be dressing up as a ghost for Halloween? Who knows? Attacking the corpse itself does no damage, meaning I need to destroy the ropes. I lose the first time, having used all my supplies against just John Trenchface. It takes a few attempts, but I eventually get it. It wasn't hard per se. The corpse only does about 20 damage per hit, a max of 40 per turn, and the devs gave me plenty of supplies before the fight. But it was still enjoyable. I haven't said this yet, but I really do think the whole rope gimmick is cool. Anyway, the corpse is destroyed. All that there is to interact with is a closet up ahead. This isn't the first time it's appeared, but before, it's done nothing when messed with, saying that it feels like something is holding it from the inside shut. We are shown a cutscene, who I can only assume is a younger cattle is speaking with someone. Not apparent, as the person who he is speaking with asks where they are, possibly killed by the war. We hear knocking on a door before this mystery person puts us into a closet and tells us not to open it no matter what, saying that the people at the door are friends. We hear a door open and then a gunshot. The man we were just with is dead. Dead as hell. 2 people open the door, finding cattle. They ask themselves what that thing, the man, was doing with us before deciding to leave us here. That was ending A. You may be wondering, are there any endings? I don't know if there are, but if they are, they're related to permadeath mode. I looked it up and couldn't find anything on an ending B. I am not doing permadeath in this video, as I do not have the time. I'll do that in another video. I did do hard mode though, and nothing really changed other than there being a few more enemies than normal. Different ending could be tied to either of the classes you unlock for beating the game once, one of which being a rat. I'm not sure though. I am not going to be overly dissecting the story, not in this video at least. I simply am not smart enough to do that. The video is also kinda way behind schedule. Also need to cover the expansion in a separate video, as much as I don't want to. Again, I just don't have the time to fit it all into this one video. I am not very good at managing my time, and I want this out by Halloween night. With that being said, there really isn't much else to say. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. I also have a Discord, which should be in the video description. If it is not, it'll be in the channel bio. Anyways, that's all. I'll see ya.